Hey, my name is Patrick Lovell. I am a muckraker journalist that has announced his candidacy for the 2024 run of the presidency of the United States. Why am I doing such a bold maneuver? Well, because I'm the only guy who's got the answer of the largest criminal conspiracy cover up in history that never ended. That is our system. I'm the only voice that has revealed to the world that Federal Reserve Act 13.3 was used illegally to backdoor multiple trillions of dollars to a bankrupt shadow financial sector that got that way through unbelievable criminal fraud that our government unfortunately decided to let get away with burying over 50 million Americans who got bulldozed in the courts. And as such, everybody started blaming each other because they don't understand how the system works. And we've had basically a civil war on our hands ever since. There's a lot of things unfolding at this very moment that are absolute insanity, most of which that I'm referring to is with involvement of the FTX Sam Bankman-Fried scenario that has captured a lot of the world's attention because, of course, the celebrities involved, Tom Brady, Larry David, Shaquille O'Neal, Stephon Curry, others, stadiums around the United States, gave validity to this company FTX, so that was just nothing but a Ponzi scheme. But if that wasn't enough, we also had involved many members of the government, including in our regulatory capacity. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, it's been very clearly defined that some very, very unfortunate realities have somehow been involved with both Sam Bankman-Fried's operation donating $36 million to the Democratic Party in the midterms, as the Republicans are up in arms about that. But as it turns out, they also donated $26 million to the Republicans. Both parties are absolutely corrupt. If it wasn't already on display with full, it's just so clear to anybody paying attention. But also, further to that, I just found out this morning, if it wasn't, just the SEC director Gary Gensler who was involved peculiarly in allowing some of the things to happen, even though everybody was warning about this for I think the last year and a half about things that were happening in the crypto market that were just insane criminality and grift and Ponzi scheming and all of the rest of it, pumping and dumping. But none other I found out this morning than former FDIC director who was a Republican, who I found one of the most honest people coming out of the 2008 great financial crisis to be involved with as well. Her name is Sheila Bair. Unbelievable reputation, and justifiably so. But as it turns out, unfortunately, she was linked to crypto through the Cayman Islands by being an executive director of a bank that she also helped get legal standing in the United States, which just goes to show the level of insane revolving door. And if that weren't enough, it was revealed that none other than Covington and Burling, the law firm that gave us Eric Holder and Lenny Brewer under the Obama administration, who let Wall Street get away with the largest criminal conspiracy in the history of the world, that company, as it turns out, or I should say law firm, that was involved with also decades and decades of being complicit with the tobacco concealment of the tobacco companies and what was involved with everything that led to the revelation that cigarettes create cancer that they hid forever. That's part and parcel to this scheme. We are in the most beguiling, unfortunate, disgusting emperor's new clothes on bad acid revelation that the entire system is corrupt and nobody has credibility. The media has no credibility. As it turns out, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, not only was providing money to both political parties, but he was providing money to media institutions as well as independent institutions like The Intercept, which is unfortunate. And I'm not saying that The Intercept, held back stories on Sam Bankman-Fried if they had information, because I just don't know that. But I do know that they were given money by FTX, which is dirty money. And on top of that, the magnitude of the mainstream media's complicity in this SBF FTX scenario is extraordinary. The New York Times, obviously, Donald Trump famously quipped, "It's all fake media." He's not wrong. He'd been manipulating it for decades. But in this particular case, the New York Times is 2 days away from hosting what's known as the Deal Book Summit with led by none other than Andrew Ross Sorkin, who's all over CNBC and, of course, the New York Times, giving a platform within the context of the legitimacy of the New York Times to Sam Bankman-Fried. It's obvious why he's doing it. They probably had it scheduled in advance, and they're like, let's just talk about what's going on. The guy hasn't been convicted yet, so we'll give him a chance to talk. It's going to bring in a lot of viewers. But ironically, they're doing that side by side with none other than Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, a company that got that way because of what it is that I've been revealing to you. Federal Reserve Act 13.3 was used illegally to funnel trillions of dollars of the full faith and credit of the United States to be the lender of last resort to a bankrupt shadow financial sector that got that way through insane fraud, which I revealed to you in www.thecon.tv. Maybe more importantly, and what I filibustered in front of the grand jury of the American people on 11/1/22, which is available on YouTube at Patrick Lovell Truth Bombs the Con, where I laid out all the details that take you all the way through a conspiracy that set up and destroyed over 50 million Americans, over 100 million people worldwide, that ultimately was completely illegal, soup to nuts, and that the same methods that were used to set everybody up were used in the courts to illegally foreclose on millions of Americans. The collateral damage is beyond comprehension. I call it financial terrorism. And because I have all of this information and who I am in the context of everything else, and knowing that nobody in media has told you this story, and what I've just illustrated and demonstrated to you, as we all know, media has no credibility. Celebrities don't have any credibility. Our government doesn't have any credibility. And if anybody were to run for president who had this information and didn't tell you, then they would have no credibility. So why am I telling you this information? Well, because to me, the integrity of law and the character of the United States matters above all else. I don't know how we can last another day looking in the mirror knowing how insanely corrupt this situation is. I've said it before on social media, and it's an unfortunate thing to say, but as far as I can see, everywhere you look, all you see are pimps, hoes, and junkies feeding from the same trough of corruption. It's absolutely insane, and we have to rise above the corruption. We have to purge the corruption. We have to arrest the corruption. We have to defeat the corruption of our souls and our nation. It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science, it's racketeering. The bottom line is, I know the people who can get things done. I know the people who could turn this thing inside and out if only tens of millions of you were equipped with the truth and suddenly the fog was lifted and you saw the light. You're just getting played. And I said this the other day on social media, and I hate to say it, but I have to reveal this to those of you who want to spend a lot more time watching cute animals or girls on poles or dudes wiping out and that sort of thing. Look, man, the dumb and cowardly are expendable in our society. That's ridiculous. We're supposedly a nation of laws. I can understand why people who don't have the information or the capacity or everything else, who don't want to, tune into this stuff, don't want to necessarily put the burden on their shoulders to have to fix this. I understand that. But to the tens of millions of you who aren't like that, who actually believe that we have to have a middle class and upwardly mobile dynamics in this country, and that if we want a free market, it can't be controlled by oligarchs and monopolies that got that way by stealing, thieving their way to complete control of our government, and of course the revolving door of bad actors in government. Are you kidding me? Where is the character? Where is the courage of the United States? I'll tell you where it is. Right here. I'm going the distance, man, because that's what I do. My name is Patrick Lovell, and if you haven't heard that Federal Reserve Act 13.3 basically backdoored multiple trillions of dollars to a criminal apparatus that now rules the world, You can't trust them, and you can only trust me because it's the truth. Onwards.